In this video, I'm gonna be building a massive Lego Ninjago and Cyberpunk inspired Lego city. Filled with skyscrapers, neon signs, supercars, gangs, and everything you can imagine. This video is gonna be amazing. So this is the room where we're gonna build a city, and I want to sketch up some kind of plan because this room, it's a big room, and I want this to be a big city. So after doing some measuring and figuring out how the city is gonna look, I came up with a pretty solid blueprint, I thought, and then I realized it was shit. So I had to redo it all again. This is a big project. But after a few more hours of work and thinking and really planning this city, I had something to work with. Behold, Neotropolis. I know, it's not an original name, but we have a sketch, so let's get started. For this city, we need a lot of parts, and I mean a lot of Lego parts. So let's grab the most cyberpunk looking parts we have, which are doors, windows, all these railings and stuff like that. But where do you even start a project like this? Well, this is, first of all, where planning comes in, and standards. This city is going to be built upon mills plates, which connects really easily, and you have a great standard for every single house and every block. This way, the whole project won't be as overwhelming as starting a city from scratch. Once you have your mills plate, you can just start building. The first area we should build is the core of the city. We're going to cover this area with tall buildings with just like kit bashed stuff, with a lot of stores, neon signs, billboards, and people, of course. Speaking of billboards and signs, I actually made these myself. So we have a lot of cool custom printed stickers for this, because Lego doesn't really make that many big stickers that would work as a billboard, and I also wanted some stuff that is on the Cyberpunk theme of things. And Firestar Toys were kind enough to send me some of their custom stuff as well. Let's add some figures to this build and some details, of course, some stuff outside of the store, some directions around the city, and some more figures. Alright, so this turned out really cool. I'm happy what we've got so far, but it isn't that cyberpunk, so let's add another floor and see what we can do. Add a sign, and we got it. However, it is really small and short, so let's add another floor, or a few more floors. I have this really cool Lego set that I like, and it feels kind of cyberpunk, so let's add some of this to that.
Oh, would you like some of this on your that?
It's always fun to build Lego set, but the idea for this Lego set is not to have it as is. I want to take it apart and add parts of it into my own house. But there we go, it looks kinda nice, right? So let's grab a few of those modulars and put it into our own house that we're building. There we go! Our first house is done, and I think it turned out really cool. Adding those extra parts from the other Lego set really made it cyberpunky, and you got the whole kit bashed look. I really like it. We have a hotel here in the middle with a cantina band advertised. We have a noodle shop up here, and we have some cyberpunk looking characters. If we then take a look at the roof, we have a nightclub with a Star Wars theme, and I'm really happy with this. It turned out kinda cool, but I just plopped some of the stuff from the Lego set onto this build. We have this guy looking for his missing cat, and here we have a VIP area in the bar or slash club. In the dining area, we have a few stormtroopers enjoying some lobster. And on top, we also have the missing cat, enjoying the club scene. Alright, so the first house is done, but taking a look at this sketch, we have a lot of houses to build, so I really have to put in an extra gear here. Our second house will be a connecting point for the entire city center, which will mean a train station. We also add a karaoke place next to it, and I'm gonna add a hotel, I think, because hotels are always in these buildings. I didn't realize how big of a project this actually is. There's a lot of houses to build and a lot of work going into this. So if you like what you see and enjoy my content, please subscribe and give me a like to support the content so I can keep making it. This is really fun, but it is a lot of work. After the first house, I was pretty confident I knew the style of how I should build cyberpunk buildings, so I just kind of flew by on this one, and all of a sudden it was done. This one turned out even cooler than the first one, and I really like what we have here. A lot of cool colors and fun shapes. At the bottom here we have a gang called the Blood Boys trying to sell fake phones, and Spider-Man changing into his Spider-Man outfit. We also have the karaoke place, and a way for people to go to the train station up here, which will be really cool because I want to add a train that goes around the entire city later. Up here we have a gun store, which is actually getting robbed by the Blood Boys. And if you wonder why they're called the Blood Boys, it's because you guys actually voted for that name, which I really love. If you want to be a part of votes like that, go on to my YouTube page and like the community page, we have votes like that all the time. Or join the Discord. Links are down below. Here I added a very shady looking hotel that looks kinda awful and I wouldn't want to stay there. And on top, of course, some custom billboard advertising. And if you wonder about the backside of these buildings, I do actually add some stuff to it. Even though it isn't the best looking backside, I do want to add some details. Weirdly enough, I think one of my favorite things to build is just AC units. It is so fun. So this is what we got so far. Alright, it looks cool, but it's not nearly enough of what I want to build. After our two first houses, I had to take a step back. And don't get me wrong, I was really happy with what we've got, but there was still a lot left to do. I've built a lot of cities in the past, and it's really fun. However, one thing that is really difficult, building cities that are actually alive. I've built a lot of apocalyptic cities, but building cities that are alive, you have to think about like, alright, where's the store gonna be? Where are people going to commute? How's everything gonna work? How's the infrastructure gonna look? This might sound like boring stuff, and I did not study any of these subjects in school, but to make a city feel alive, you really have to think of these things, like how is the city actually gonna function? Where do people get their internet? How do people drive to work? Where are people working? Anyways, after finishing the third house, I was noticing that my bricks were just flying away, which is a perfect reason to incorporate new colors that I don't really use that often. So it was really a good opportunity that my bricks were just fading away. During my intensive building, stuff like this happens. You gotta bump out some buckets of Lego, of course. In our fourth house, I wanted to build a pizza place and an auto mechanic, so I started by grabbing a bunch of gray bricks and adding some cool cords and greebling on the side. I mean, detail work is really where it's at. It is so fun to work with details. I also called in some extra help, but don't tell anyone. Finishing up the fourth house, I was really feeling this build. I was really feeling this challenge and the whole thing about building a city. I was having so much fun and just enjoying adding some details and adding billboards, Easter eggs, everything. This was a blast. I also felt like I conquered the style of Cyberpunk. I knew what the Cyberpunk look was. But I guess that's what's running around like a maniac building Lego in a basement for 3 weeks will do to you, so that's only fair, right? Finishing up the fourth house, we were actually 3 weeks into this project, and I thought I would build this much faster, but it was huge. I am so excited to show you what we've got so far. This is one of the coolest things I've ever built, and it's not even done yet, but I am so much feeling this build, so enjoying it. It is a blast building stuff like this. And I think that to pat myself on the back, this is where I excel. This is the best thing I can do. This is the most fun thing I can build, and I really enjoy building Lego cities. I've gotten inspiration from a lot of different things for this build, but I was playing Sleeping Dogs the other day. It's basically the Chinese GTA. It takes place in Hong Kong, and it's an amazing game. But I saw all these signs sticking out from the buildings, and I got really inspired. So I added that to my own build as well, and that really gave it the cyberpunk look. I hadn't thought about that earlier, but it really added something extra to the whole vibe. There's of course a lot to take a look at, but we have to do that in a separate video because it's way too much to cover in this video. It feels like this city is alive. There's a lot of people, there's a lot going on. We have a few different stores, we have different levels of people just walking on the platforms as well, and we have a burger restaurant at the top of a building. I like these kind of details, and it's a new way to build a city that I haven't really done before. So we have our first 4 buildings, and they are massive. They're almost to the ceiling of my studio. However, we need to add more, right? You know what time it is. It is time to build some roads. It's my favorite road system, the new one. You know the old plates? They were cool, but this is a whole new level, because these roads you can actually customize, which is exactly what I've done. But this is the old road system that I used to use in the old cities. However, there's a problem with this. You can fit a regular 1x4 car here, absolutely, and you can have them ride. But as soon as you move up in scale with the cars, there's a problem. They are going to collide. They're gonna crash. So, yeah, this doesn't work. We have to do something about it. Cue the time-lapse music. My genius head came up with the idea of actually just doubling the size. Grab 2 road plates, put them next to each other, and all of a sudden we have a double-sized road. This should work perfectly, and it will look cool as well. But one thing I didn't take into account is that the roads are actually higher up than the actual houses, so we have to do something about that. And why not just remove the underside? I mean, we'll get the height that we need, slide that into the city and connect everything, and wow, it actually looks really cool and it works. Now the cars can drive peacefully on one side of the road without crashing into the other car. When I saw this, I immediately felt that we need to add a bridge above the road so people can actually cross the road in a safe manner. I added some cars to the road, some construction work, because no matter how futuristic the city, there will always be construction work. Now people from above the ground can cross the road without having an issue with cars. This might feel like a finished city somewhat, but I want to add more. I want to add a really cool fishing village here next to the road and add some kind of harbor area. And this will be a lot more inspired by Ninjago or kind of Asian themes with noodle shops and dojos and stuff like that. I think it can fit the city really well. I also wanted to diversify the city with a whole lot of different building styles and techniques, so I think that will be a perfect breakup in the whole style. And of course, if people are at the fishing village, they need to have a fish market as well where they're selling fish, and this guy's selling samurai swords, but that's besides the point. Adding more water, I actually put the bricks on the side to get a smooth texture, which worked out really good. Adding a few bridges and a few boats, adding some more water, and we've almost got the entire fishing village done. Since we're not building tall skyscrapers or giant buildings, this was actually moving pretty fast, which meant I could get carried away with the details, and it was really fun. Wow, finishing up this and just looking at the whole thing, I'm really happy what we've got so far. However, going into this project, I did not realize how big this was actually gonna be. This is the coolest and the biggest city I've ever built, and we're only getting started. This is only part 1 of a several video series that I'm gonna do. I am of course gonna do an in-depth video on the whole city and show you all the small details and Easter eggs like these mini-kits here, and just all the stories and small things like Indiana Jones over here. There's so much to show you in this whole city, but that's gonna be a separate video, otherwise this would be such a long video. So, we're done with the first part of the city, but I am not done with the building. Since I'm fairly dumb and stupid and like to challenge myself, I decided to add motors into this build and get some movement. Cue in Albin. This is my friend from LEGO Masters. We got to know each other on the Swedish season and competed together in the LEGO Masters Grandmasters of the Galaxy in Australia. He knows a lot about LEGO motors and programming. So thanks to him, we can actually program some of these LEGO motors to work exactly as I want them to work. Which is absolutely amazing and insane. I don't know anything about programming, but he does. So, thank you, Albin. After a quick programming session, it was time to test.
Stop.
This might not look like much, but the concept of having this work is actually amazing. Because now I can program a motor to spin for 10 seconds, stop for 10 seconds, and then start again, and have that on a loop without using a controller. which is absolutely amazing and revolutionize how I can use these motors in my build. So applying this technique onto the build is actually very simple. Just plug the thing in you want to spin, turn on the motor, and it spins. And I don't have to use a controller, and it's gonna stop within 10 seconds and then start again. Insane. And because we have this amazing technique, I actually want to take on something else and try making a working gondola that's gonna travel from one building to another, and it's gonna be automated. I don't know how to do this, but I'm gonna figure it out. My idea to get this to work is to have it on a pulley system that pulls it up and then releases it back down, thus making it travel from one building to the other. Let's try it out. In theory, and actually practicing trying it out, it actually worked. Now I just have to put it on some kind of stick or something that's gonna let it travel from one building to the other. Now I bet there are some people in the comments letting me know that I'm doing this completely wrong. And I probably am, because I have no idea what I'm doing and I'm just trying my luck here. But it doesn't seem to work and I'm not the smartest guy, so yeah. If you have an idea on how to do this better, please let me know in the comments. Well, you see, after a lot of trial and error, I ended up Googling it. It's just that simple. I had to figure out how to do this and I couldn't do it myself, so I took some help from the internet. Thanks to a handy tutorial from Warren Nash, I actually figured out how to do this. Well, with his help. We just have to build the whole thing as it would work in reality. There probably is a better way to do this whole thing. 100% there's a better way to do this. However, I've committed now, so I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna figure out how to get this thing moving from point A to point B. But I don't think we can do it with Lego string. I mean, don't get me wrong, the string is great, however, the stud is the problem. So we gotta use something else. Here's a thread, and I'm thinking of some string, so I don't really know what will work out best. Let's try both. This has got to be one of the most frustrating things I've done in my entire life. First of all, working with string like this is just horrible, and then having to connect it and do some kind of pulley system, this was driving me nuts. I eventually got everything in place and got it working. However, it was way too fast, because now we just have to switch this out to make it a smaller gondola, and then just boot the program and install the firmware in the motor to make the motor slower. But yeah.
One eternity later.
Fixed all the stupid things, I switched out some wheels, and there we go, it finally works. My greatest achievement in life. This was so much work and so unnecessary, but I have it and it's cool, right? Please say it's cool, please. Once again, I don't know why I do this, but Brixmax were kind enough to send me a big package of their light kits, so we're gonna light the whole city up and install some lights. This is so stupid because I really don't have time for this, and we've already done so much with this project, but let's install some brick lights and make this city beautiful at night. Sure, you could pre-plan this and build the houses to be able to, like, do wiring, but no, I didn't do that because I'm stupid and I shot myself in the foot with this one, so I had to rebuild all the houses and include lights and wires. However, take a look at this. That was really cool, but if you're wondering why there weren't lights in all the buildings, this is why. The thing fell and I was just fed up. I've had enough. Don't worry, I promise to install lights in the future and there's gonna be more videos. And here we go, for the final stretch, I just wanted to show you guys how big this city actually is. It is quite big actually. But it's getting so much bigger in the next upcoming videos. I'm gonna expand it on both sides, because we have so much more planned. So if you don't want to miss out on this, follow me, subscribe to the channel. Bye!